Good afternoon from lovely Bali in Indonesia, a place I used to call home for several years, but unfortunately today I don't have time to go up and see my old neighbours about an hour away. Instead, I've got to jump on a very small plane to a place that the locals call Nusa Nila, or Dragon Island. Now, not only does it have alleged actual dragons living there, but it is also home to persistent local stories of the Ebu Gogo. And this is a kind of half human, half ape-like creature, kind of hairy, long gangly arms. It's already reminding me of something. Promises to be quite the adventure.
And it was an awesome flight from Bali across the volcanoes of the Indonesian archipelago. And then a bit of a bumpy boat ride through some of its stunning 17,000 islands. And finally, we moored up, and I had a very steep and sweaty hike to reach my destination. But the views, well, they just about made it all worthwhile.
It's a bit hot, but hopefully it's going to be worth it. So, "Here be dragons" is something we imagine written on medieval maps, denoting areas that are kind of terra incognita, very possibly dangerous, where there are fantastical stories of monsters. Turns out it's only been found actually written on a single map, I believe in the early 1500s, and it was for a part of East Asia, which is where we are now, on the island of Komodo. And this is home to the world's only living dragons. I mean, okay, technically they're the world's biggest lizard, but still, what is a dragon but a large lizard in reality? 90 kilograms in weight, up to 3 meters long. I mean, these are truly monstrous beasts. They eat just about anything. They can run faster than humans. They can also swim. And yes, they will attack humans too. Very sadly, about 5 people have been killed by them in past years. I think around 20 attacks. So won't be going up too close. And like so many of these creatures, it was completely doubted by outsiders for centuries. You know, stories came out, local people talked about it, but outsiders were like, no, this is myth, this is folklore, can't possibly exist. And it was only when a European sailor was shipwrecked here about 100 years ago and saw it and said, yeah, this thing really exists, brought back the stories, that the rest of the world finally believed that the Komodo dragon really existed. Yeah, so let's go find one.
But I wasn't quite foolhardy enough to do this alone. Always take a responsible adult when possible. And even better, one with a trusty forked stick. Agus had spent his whole life living alongside these dragons, which made me feel pretty safe. But also delighted in telling me stories about them attacking people, which did not. There was the unfortunate Singaporean tourist who'd been bitten while taking a photo, and the local honey collector who accidentally stepped on one coming down from a tree. And while these dragons don't breathe fire, their mouths contain something just as deadly, highly toxic venom glands. But the local community, on the whole, lives in harmony with the dragons, which gives a glimmer of hope for this endangered species and its less than 4,000 individuals now left in the wild. A glimmer that's brightened by another of their remarkable biological features, something long talked about by locals but scoffed at by outsiders until it was observed in a British zoo. The female dragons have the rare talent for pathogenesis, the ability to produce fertilized eggs without having first mated with a partner. After that amazing and slightly scary encounter with the dragons, I hopped over to the neighbouring island of Flores, driving deep into its heart through stunning mountains and jungle on the trail of the second extraordinary enigma that I'd heard tell of in these parts.
So people in this area talk about the Ebu Gogo. It was said to be about a meter and a half tall, have a kind of flat face, quite big features, these kind of long dangling arms. And outsiders thought either this is just, folklore, this is a complete myth, or they're talking about some kind of monkey. There were also stories about humans living alongside this animal or creature, sometimes tricking it, having conflict, things that are quite similar to stories of the Yeti. But the difference between the Ebu Gogo and the Yeti is that in 2003, right here, they found a body. So a team of archaeologists were in this cave. They were digging, they were looking for evidence of early humans, and they came across a skull. Okay, not so remarkable. It's a human skull, it's a child's skull. They start excavating more, and they get down to look at it, and the teeth are the teeth of an adult. And what they find, 15 bodies later, 15 skeletons later, is a new species of human, a new species of Homo. And we're here in Flores, so it was named Homo floresiensis. And this creature bears a stunning resemblance to those legends of Ebu Gogo that abound in the region. And so much so that the editor of the prestigious scientific journal Nature said after the discovery here, given this, we should take stories of human-like, allegedly mythical creatures from different parts of the world a lot more seriously, because there really could be something in them too. So let's go and see where they found the body. Okay. He's just in flip-flops and much steadier footed than me, as you can see. It's very slippery. So they're still looking here, and there's a 23 meter hole coming right down here. They're going down with ropes. I can't imagine how scary that is to look for more bones or tools. They've found like stone knives that were being used. Yeah. It's amazing to think, that for maybe 100,000 years, both humans and another species have been, there's huge bats on the roof, look, like huge, that's like Dracula size, oh my God. That they were living here, right? Like families were living here, eating here in this very spot where we are now. Like, read about this and heard about this, and then to actually be in the cave where they found this new species of human, and it changed all the kind of theories of where we've come from, challenging this kind of chronological development of different Homo species, the possibility that humans lived alongside Homo floresiensis, which became known as the hobbit people due to their diminutive size. Amazing. And all the lives that have been lived in this cave, and the dramas, families, life and death.
As I finally headed home, I realised it was a pretty phenomenal result for this trip, discovering that both dragons and hobbits are actually real. But it was also really encouraging and humbling to see so convincingly that we don't already have everything catalogued in books or on the internet, that centuries of local people's accumulated knowledge and experience of nature can still offer the rest of us astounding new insights into the world. In other words, that thankfully there really still is plenty of terra incognita out there.